hell of a lot of good stories going on.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting shit.
As I often say, a good time to be in the business.
A great time to be in the business.
Right.
Not a great time for Diddy, however. Man, he's tried again. He's been denied bail twice already. And he's going up and he's trying to get like a new third time that he's trying to go. And he's got this new dream team that he put together. But just this week, his attorneys are saying that the feds have been up to no good. Not Diddy. Have been up to no good.
Yeah.
The feds have been up to no good. They are claiming that the feds leaked the whole Cassie tape and that it shouldn't have been leaked. So between the feds and CNN, both of these people that they're claiming that they leaked this tape, they don't know how it came out. And what the attorney is saying is that, well, this is, I don't know if he's really saying it's illegal, or maybe he is kind of saying, or just it's unfair, because they're saying because of that tape is the reason why he was denied bail twice so far, because the tape came out and it has nothing to do. That Cassie tape has nothing to do with the case that's going on right now.
Right.
Zero, right?
Right.
So that's what they're saying, that because it was leaked out to the public, now everybody hates Diddy, right? And that is unfair, and that is why he was denied bail twice. And they're up in arms right now. They're saying, oh, well, they made it leak, and they're now saying that, oh, they're just saying this because he's a black man. Well, they're probably trying to pull the race card,
Right.
as some of us do sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes it's worthy, sometimes it's not. You know what I'm saying? But Mama Combs came to court. The whole family came. Yo, I never knew his son looked just like Diddy.
Yeah.
Was that King Combs? Looks spitting image. So Kim Combs was there. His daughters were there. Mama Combs came in from Florida, I believe. Everybody was there in court with him again. And so they got their arms all up in roars, about this happening right now. So they do have a new a court date set now. Finally, It's going to be May 5th, I believe.
Yep.
You know how long that is? This guy isn't going to be in there all the way till May 5th. Obviously, they're trying to get this speedy trial. But anyway, it's set down for May 5th. But it's a whole thing now coming out with they're saying that they leaked this Cassie tape. So what do you think about this whole situation that's been going on? And do you think that the feds did something a little bit wrong, and they actually did? Because they're saying this is not true. But do you think that they did leak this tape to give them this leverage or this advantage to make sure that he was denied bail? What do you think about it?
Well, yeah, and I don't know if the feds leaked it. That's the because I had also heard that Cassie, her camp leaked it. I guess we want to use the word leaked, but also released it. Probably I would put that better. So I don't know who released it, if it was leaked, released. First we heard that, Diddy paid to get what he thought was the only copy of it. Clearly that wasn't the case.
Right.
But I guess I feel this way. After viewing that tape, I think the last thing I'm going to do is feel like I need to blame the feds for anything.
Right, exactly.
Right, you know what I mean?
Right.
I just wasn't thinking feds.
Right.
Like, blame the feds. But, I don't have a problem. Whether they did that or not, I don't even care, man. Like, that was horrific. That was difficult to look at.
Yeah.
And also, how can you project ahead, so far ahead that would play a part in one's bail hearing? To leak it. When you think of the timing of it, when that tape was shown to the public or released to the public, and then when this bail hearing, that's an incredibly large leap. Heck, the judge who was going to sit on the bench hadn't even been identified yet, right? Hadn't even, there was no case that was even brought forth. So I think that's a big leap. I think you may have alluded to it. His team of attorneys are probably grasping at straws. They're going into the playbook of pulling the race card now. Let's see if this works. Nah, I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think that is a little unfair with this, since the Cassie tape has nothing to do with these new charges, right? I do think it is a little unfair because, as we all know, when you saw the tape, I saw the tape, and the whole world saw the tape, obviously, is one thing when we heard that he was abusive to people and to Cassie and everything like that. There's one thing hearing it, but there's another thing seeing it. And we know the feds knows that that was going to be a huge thing that was going to help their case in making sure that he is denied bail. Like, they're not idiots. I think they actually are onto something, his attorneys. I think that is actually true. I mean, again, it doesn't mean that what he did wasn't horrific, because it is. So I see what you're saying. It really doesn't matter in a sense, but they do kind of have a point where I can see where that could have affected their decision.
Listen, it could. I mean,
and it's kind of wrong because it doesn't have anything to do with this case. So that's the part where I'm like, I kind of see what they're saying.
Right, but you know what does have to do with it when we look at the indictment? Mm-hmm. There were guns, weapons were recovered. Mm-hmm. There's drugs, so there's charges related to weapons. There's charges related to drugs. Mm-hmm. There is, I guess they had some evidence to where he tried to influence potential witnesses. Mm-hmm. That to me is why the bail was denied. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was so much of the flight risk. Mm-hmm. I think it was having access to these other things. And then also, too, if you've got weapons and there's a possibility of violence, or maybe the charges were related to something violent related.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, that's another reason why I'm not the least bit surprised that that bail would be denied. Mm-hmm. If it were white collar crime, just that, maybe he gets an ankle bracelet, goes home. Mm-hmm. But due to the nature of some of the charges, the sensationalism of it, I don't see how you couldn't. Listen, people have stories of, I don't know if how much is a part of the case where people threatening or not threatening or saying that they were threatened. Mm-hmm. Cards, reports of cars being blown up.
Sure.
It was like Kid Cudi and
Kid Cudi.
Yeah,
right.
People say these things took place. If someone, now whether or not he did it, I guess we'll wait to see.
Right.
But as far as the feds are concerned, that those items may be true, and if that is indeed true, then bail should be denied.
Right.
And I think also too, Jay, the judge may also be privy to information that we don't have.
Oh, right? There's new indictments.
Right.
There's new indictments that are going to be coming out.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So they're still working.
Right. So even the indictments, the one that has been, it was a show indictment. And so I think that was one of the things that people talked about, why it was so light, if you will. So they purposely said that all the details weren't in there. You only needed enough to get the indictment, to get the arrest. You don't need to disclose your full case against him until you need to. No need in giving his defense team more time to prepare. Okay, so you do just enough. You go before the grand jury. Mm-hmm. When the grand jury approves the indictment or approves, right, and so then you go out and you can make the arrest and so on. So I think that all of that's there. I think a lot of this, my 2 cents, is just a smokescreen. Right. His legal team is doing everything they should be doing. Mm-hmm. They're trying to pull everything out of the bag that they can, every trick out of the bag to see if they can get him released.
You think this new dream team is going to be able to be successful in terms of potentially, getting him off? There's been the Menendez brothers. They're supposedly, they've been locked up in jail for many, many years so far. They're allegedly going to get out. When you have great attorneys that can get you out of tough situations, sometimes it helps to assemble these great dream teams. But then you also have Gloria Allred, she's representing a lot of the victims. So she was out there in court yesterday, working with them and just, talking on their behalf and everything like that. But I mean, it's a really sick case. And a lot of people that are the victims, the alleged victims, let's put it that way, they're suffering, right? They're suffering, and but at least they're getting their day in court, per se, kind of. At least the stories are coming to light. But it's really, really sad. But I mean, I just hope justice is served, and I hope it will be. But I'm curious whether you think that his new attorneys will be able to have any kind of leeway in kind of helping him.
Honestly, and maybe this is a glass half empty approach, but I don't see it. I think.
Well, Mama Combs said it's just unjust.
Well,
you heard what she said?
Well,
treating her baby wrong.
Right. She's going to speak on behalf of her baby.
right.
And I would expect most mothers of the world to do the same thing for their child. But I think he's. I think exactly what we see is it's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's locked up. I think he's going to do a lot of time. I know you and I had kind of went back and forth on this a little bit. I think you and I disagree. I still think I strongly believe he's going to cop a plea. Okay. I don't see him going to trial, a full-blown out trial with this.
We did disagree. He's a fighter, bro.
Yeah, he's a fighter, Jay, but I still think that when they see the full case in front of them, right? And so they don't really know yet. Diddy knows what he's done or what he hasn't done, right? Or what he did, but he doesn't know what they know, right? And so when all of that gets presented, he's going to know, how much they know. The other part, and this is really big to me also, is it's the RICO charge, right? And so he's identified as he's at the top of that RICO, right? This criminal organization, which is really basically a collection of a number of conspiracy charges. Right. That's how it's all made up. We're the co-conspirators. This is what I was saying before. Rarely, if ever, do you see a RICO for the the proposed kingpin, right? And you don't see the subordinates or others. So to me,
they're working on that,
right? But that tells me, that these people are talking, right? And so I think that's the other thing that's going to be shocking to me, because the DAs will have to disclose their witness list, and so once he and his side sees that witness list, there may be people on that list that he has no idea have flipped on him, that's going to testify against him.
Still going to be their word against his.
Right, but that's jolting, right? Because you know who knows what, right? Yeah. And so, it's their word against your word against his word, but you know the level of detail. You know what they know. Do I want that out? And so I think all of that tsunami of all that evidence coming before you. Also, too, and the last thing I'll say is, and I want to be real clear, I'm not saying that people ever get used to being incarcerated. I'm not going to say that lightly. I've never been incarcerated.
And I don't think he would either.
Right. But what I will say to that, though, is this. I think there's a different feeling if he was released on bail and he's still sitting in a mansion in Miami or Los Angeles and then goes to trial. I think that's a different feeling versus sitting in jail now. Granted, he's not in prison, but he's still incarcerated. Right. And then having the conversation in and around taking a plea when you're experiencing it. Like
I see what you're saying.
The new, all of that stuff. Like you're not going from Versace slippers and the mansion
straight there.
Straight there.
You've already been experienced.
You've experienced it. You've settled into some degree to what the lifestyle. Now, mind you, he's at DMC. He's not in a federal prison, and who knows what prison.
Well, I hear it ain't too good there either. Right. Yeah.
But I think that has an impact on it as well. So I think that kind of makes you again, I'm not trying to just say it's easy, but I think that has a different connotation to it when you start to talk about time, including the time served. Yeah. And hell, I'm already here. Maybe it's as bad but maybe it's not as bad, as bad as what I thought I had in my mind. I don't want to be here, but you know what? I'm already here. Maybe I get some time off. Done. Let's do this.
I think Diddy is such a fighter. We've known him for so many years, and he's such a fighter in business, in life. I just don't see him copping. I see him fighting this till the end. I think like he said, he's simulating his dream team. He has total confidence in them that they are going to be able to get him off. And I just don't, no matter how much evidence comes out, I just don't see him doing it. And another thing that I'm really scared about is, when somebody gets thrown into jail, and they've done something like when Shine was thrown into jail for how many years was he? Not 10 years, I think he was in jail. Someone like on that level, and they go into jail, they can survive because they weren't huge in this world. I mean, he was successful in his own right. But when you're at Diddy's stature, and let's say he comes down and they give him something like, if he gets 30 years like R. Kelly has or more or whatever, who knows? I'm scared in terms of what would happen. Like somebody who is at the height of their career and fame and fortune and doesn't know what it's like. You know how many legal cases he's been in over the years and has gotten out of? Many of them. If this comes down at this time and he doesn't get out of it, he might take his own life. I could see something like that happening. I forget what the guy who took his own life. Well, I think he was murdered. I forget the guy's name. Giselle Maxwell's the guy. Right. He took his own.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you, Doc. Yeah. I think he was. He took his own life, but allegedly people are saying, nah, he really didn't. Right. Someone murdered him. But regardless, I don't think the outcome. Another thing that bothers me is a lot of these other celebrities that their names are being swirled around, that, they may also get in some kind of trouble. And the problem is that orgies, it's not illegal, right? It's not illegal. So I'm sure there have been many celebrities that partied with Diddy at his white parties, that maybe they were involved in some of these sexual activities, maybe some of these orgies. But so what? Like, okay, that is what it is. As long as there were no minors there and there were no minors taking a part in part of it, and they were adults that made that decision, I'm just hoping that if they do, because I'm sure there's tons of celebrities that we all know that he's partied with, I'm sure they did partake in it. But so what?
Yeah. I don't get this where you hear people bringing this up like, well, the party and people are consensual. Right. It was consensual and you're invited and blah, blah, blah. Like, I guess my point is I have to believe, I want to believe that the prosecutors are also looking at that as well, too, right? Like they're not just rounding up people who attended a party, right? That they can make the distinction between where a crime was committed, right? And where people were just attending a party, right? Like, I want to believe that. Now, this is not me. Listen, I'm not pie in the sky. I'm not from Pleasantville over here, from Mayberry. I know that bad people do bad things and sometimes people lie. But I think there's a bit more. I want to believe that there is a bit more there than, it's just people just went to a party, right? And what's the harm in that? I mean, come on. Well, stop.
It's not even just that, though. Okay, you can attend the party, but I guess I also have a little bit of a problem. Okay, what is illegal is if we were at one of the parties and we saw Diddy partaking in sexual activities with underage people and say, you had nothing to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
But you saw it.
Absolutely.
You saw it and you didn't say anything over the years. Are you guilty, and should you also go to jail?
Right. So legally, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to claim to know the. So I'm gonna answer, but I just want to qualify myself.
We don't know.
Right.
That's what we're just discussing this here.
Absolutely.
This is something that I have a little bit of a problem with.
So I was going to say, if this is happening during an sexual act and you happen to be participating in the sexual act, although still not involving a minor. So in other words, In other words, I guess I'm saying, what if there's a group activity?
Yeah.
Right. And there's a minor, but there's also adults.
Yeah.
You were also still a part of that, even though you may not have touched that minor. Right.
Right.
Right. We're all in the car together. 4 people in the car, 3 people run in and go rob the bank. 1 person stays in the car. We all drive off. The person that stayed in the car is still guilty of robbing.
He's an accomplice.
Right.
Sure.
Right. So that's where I think if that's how you mean it, yeah, then maybe so. But if it's one of these things where I'm not participating, hey, I'm just here for the party downstairs, and
even if you were there and the crime took place upstairs,
right.
but say you were there, but you didn't know,
right?
Like
but I don't believe that that's where.
Good. Well,
I don't think that's what people are talking about. I certainly hope that's not.
Good.
I mean, when I say people, I mean the feds. The feds, right?
Yeah. Good.
I think they're savvy enough to know,
Yeah.
or make the distinction between who, what, who's involved, who's not involved, and so on. Like I said, the raids. So according to what we hear, the raids were able to get a hold of information and evidence, phones, phone records, cell phones, videos, recordings, all of those things. They're saying so some of the footage it is on some of these electronic devices.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that they have it, they see it, and that's part of why they were able to also build a case. Remember, the raid took place. They put together that evidence, presented it to the grand jury, and then issued the arrest warrant. So there was something there during the raid for them to be able to put that case together. The one thing I'll say, I'll say and then pass it off to you is what we don't know, and I'm just interested, is what set it off. Something had to happen to start the sequence of events, because it took a court order to even conduct the raid. A judge had to sign off on that. So something took place, and I don't think
you don't think it was the Cassie tape that
to raid. No, I don't think. I think no.
Well, I mean, I think that finally brought the light to. I know this is something. It's something separate, but it brought attention to hey, we need to look further in.
Right, but still, again, there had to have been evidence, enough evidence to present to a judge
right.
to get the search warrant.
Okay.
So you need more than what happened to.
Right, since that had nothing to do with.
They went in there, they were pulling electronic, you get a search warrant.
Yeah.
If they serve a search warrant looking for a person, they're not pulling computers and other stuff, right? So it has to be specific in terms of what it is that they're looking for. They can't go in your home and just start seizing whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
They have to do it in accordance to what the warrant was approved for. So if they're grabbing electronic devices, they went in there looking for something. So like I said,
somebody tipped them off.
Right.
Someone said something.
It was more than tipping, and they had something credible
to do,
be able to present.
Right.
Then get that approved. So it just that, and so kind of bring it full circle. That's another part that I'm thinking has not been disclosed to Diddy and his team.
Right.
That could very well be someone that's close to him that he thinks
absolutely
that he thinks is on his side.
That squeal. That's why there's going to be some new indictments coming out.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the part where I'm like, whoa,
they're packing that stuff up.
That's why I think I'd be hard pressed to see it go to trial. But I think the rub in the trial is how many years he's potentially looking at in comparison to what the deal may be. If he's looking at 25, 30 plus years, 70 years, whatever, and then the offer is 10, shit, he may take that. You know what I mean?
You don't think he'll fight it to the end? I think he's such a fighter. I think he's going to fight. I just don't think he wants to admit it. Sometimes you just have to stick to your guns, even with all this evidence that's piled up against him.
I get it.
It's like once you make that decision, when you say that lie, you got to stick with it, unless a tape comes out like the Cassie beating, and then he has no other choice but to.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know. I just think there's
I have a conspiracy theory.
What is the conspiracy theory?
Which child of his is Kim Porter's child?
Isn't it
his
King
oldest
Combs?
son?
Is it King Combs?
Well, Justin's not his, right?
Justin's from a different woman.
Right, that's from no.
I think it's King Combs, which is Kim Porter's son.
Yeah,
King Combs, and then the two twins, and then the twins.
The twins.
Yeah, so I think it's 3 of them with Kim.
What if the children are mad their mother passed away mysteriously?
Yeah, well, there's been rumors about that too, that he possibly had something to do with that. Also, possibly he had something to do with Biggie's death and Tupac. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of these rumors.
Conspiracy theories are running wild,
right?
It's
crazy.
Was he born during the Kennedy assassination? Like,
yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna stop. But yeah, she mysteriously died. I think she was 47 years old. Allegedly, she died from pneumonia. It was very mysterious because you don't really hear that many people, especially that age, 47, die from pneumonia. Even when I remember when I heard that story, I was like, she died from pneumonia? It's like she didn't go to the doctor, get some antibiotics for that. It was very weird, but that's the thing.
Even like Albie Shore is like wanting them to investigate further into her death or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. So we'll see. So the date is set for May 5th with him. So he finally got that set in the courts. And so we'll see what happens, and we'll continue to follow this up.
Oh yeah, we will.
Yeah, exactly. We surely will. We surely will.
Biggest story of the year, man.
Yes, sir.